Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. Today we have a super special video as we have a whole bunch of your favourite Animal Crossing creators joining me to break down some last minute predictions and rumours of what we think and hope to see for New Horizons during this year's E3. It's definitely going to be a fun one, so without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So the wait for this year's E3 is finally over and the world's largest video games conference is well and truly underway. As you know, Nintendo are partnered with the event and have a 40-minute Nintendo Direct scheduled for June 15th around 9 AM Pacific, 12 PM Eastern and 5 PM British summertime. They have also announced their regular Treehouse livestream that will run for 3 hours and take place directly after the Direct. The Direct itself will focus exclusively on software that, for the most part, is releasing in 2021, with the Nintendo staff members and special guests taking a closer look at a few games during the livestream. It's pretty exciting, the hype is real. Most years they tend to drop some massive news, however in typical Nintendo style they've kept everything well under wraps for now. Anyway, as you'd expect, in the build up to E3, many rumours, news reports, leaks and other speculation starts to surface, and with the Animal Crossing New Horizons community eagerly awaiting the next update, whatever that may be, there's several features people think or hope will be announced for Animal Crossing during Nintendo's presentation. So here are 13 predictions that we hope to see added to New Horizons in the near future and will hopefully be announced during the E3 event. Number 1. Gyroids. So for me, there's a huge possibility that Gyroids could be added in the next update to Animal Crossing New Horizons. Gyroids are possibly one of the most iconic pieces of furniture items in the Animal Crossing franchise, and it still blows my mind to this day that they have not yet returned to New Horizons. Anyway, Gyroids are mostly just a fun and interactive set of furniture items used to decorate your home that come in all shapes and sizes, with each making unique sounds and movements, but with some games having somewhere in the region of 100 unique gyroids, it's a pretty cool side quest to collect them all too. Plus they really helped create a unique atmosphere in villager homes. Now gyroids are based on real world Haniwa clay figures and are typically associated with funerary objects, and because of this were primarily found in dig spots just like fossils, and for some reason only after it was raining. So with a potential update on the Horizons and the fact one of the most iconic symbols of the franchise is still missing, there's a good chance we could see these collectibles added to the game. I think now is the right time. We've been playing for a year and most veteran players have already found all of the fossils they need, so would give us something new to look forward to and a reason to dig up dig spots again. But what do you think? Would you like to see gyroids added to the game? Let us know in the comments. Number 2. Zelda crossover.
Hey YouTube, it's me, Memory. No, just kidding, it's actually me, Crossing Channel, and no, we're not the same person. If you don't know, I'm an Animal Crossing YouTuber, and you can check me out at Crossing Channel. I'm Crossing Channel basically everywhere. I'm going to be talking about the possibility of a Zelda update, which actually I think is very likely. Now, to me, this wouldn't be the most ideal option, but I think since we got the Mario collab not that long ago, it's very possible that we'll see some kind of Zelda collaboration too to celebrate that anniversary. It just makes total sense. They've got all these Zelda items they can bring back. They've also got Zelda villages which they can tie in with the amiibos. I can definitely see them during E3 announcing the villages coming back alongside a promotion for the amiibos returning. So Nintendo might be like, hey, the amiibos are coming back and also you'll be able to use them in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I can totally see that happening. Now personally, I'd rather see a bigger update than just a Zelda crossover. I don't think the Mario crossover was a big enough update personally, but I still think it's very possible. I think this is an incredibly likely option if we're talking about being realistic with E3 and what Nintendo could do in terms of the next update. If they did announce some kind of Zelda collaboration though, I don't think the update would be properly shown off, and I don't think it would come out right away. I think it'd come out sometime in late July with updates for the Fireworks Festival, like we've seen with previous events they've updated, and also new seasonal items for the coming months. So that's personally what I think.
Number 3. Happy Home update.
Hey YouTube, this is Chewy Plays, and I'm predicting that we'll see an update to resident services that gives us happy home designer elements in New Horizons. With an expanded building, Lottie will move in and give us the ability to further customize our homes and decorate for our villagers. As far as customization goes, I expect this update to give us way more exterior options than the ones we currently have present. I also think we'll be able to freely customize smaller homes instead of having to upgrade them to unlock the customization options. I also predict we'll be able to change our room dimensions like Happy Home Designer. Instead of working with square rooms, we can change the dimensions and make them bigger or smaller. The most exciting thing about this update is the villager home customization. Love a villager but hate their house? Offer to fix it up for them. Take their homes to the next level and let them live as large as you do on this island. Which reminds me, adding rooms to villager houses would be especially great. I want the villagers to be able to grow their homes just like the players can grow theirs. It would be fun to visit and see a lot of their personality shine through with the extra space. Anyways, this was my prediction for a Happy Home Designer update in New Horizons. I'm Chewy Plays. You can check me out on YouTube, and please say hi to Mayor Mori for me.
Number 4. Fence Customization.
Hey everyone, it's Kato. So with E3 quickly approaching and all of us speculating what is going to be there for Animal Crossing, we all kind of have to take a step back and think realistically what might be coming. And one update that I think could potentially come for the E3 update, if they decide to show anything, is customizable fences. Customizable fences have been data mined previously. We have seen the white picket fence in previous trailers for Animal Crossing. I personally think that white version might have just been a prior render of the wooden simple fence that we now have, but just seeing a white fence is something that makes me really excited about the potential of customizable fences. If they decide to include something like this, I think it could really change the game in terms of designing. It would give us so many more options, and to kind of add on to that, I really think if they just added more customization options for the current DIYs that exist in the game, that would also benefit and increase the longevity of the game so much. For example, if they provided customizations for the barrel and we had maybe a white version or a mossy version, stuff like that, you could really just add a lot more character to your island without them having to come out with a ton of new items, which is obviously something that I want, but I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic here, and I think more customizations of what we currently have and fences is a totally reasonable expectation. If you want to hear more of my E3 predictions, definitely come check out my channel, youtube.com/consolecato. I have all my predictions over there and a lot more Animal Crossing content, and I would love to see you.
Number 5. Brewster.
Hello there, I'm Cresselia, and my big E3 prediction for New Horizons is that we will see the return of Brewster. Brewster, for those of you who don't know who he is a coffee shop running pigeon who has been a staple to the series since Wild World. His coffee shop, The Roost, was in the basement of the museum, but New Leaf gave him the best upgrade by having him receive his own building, and you, the player, could work for him. You'd have to learn your villagers and other special characters' favourite coffees and make them, which was just a nice little mini game. I so badly want this feature to return. The dream would be for him to have his own building once again, but honestly, I'd settle for Blathers letting him set up shop back in the basement. It'd be great to see just another thing for your villagers to interact with, and possibly see special characters like Rossetti or Rover showing up just like they did in the previous installments. Brewster also allowed you to store your gyroids in previous games, so maybe if Brewster returns, we could see those come back too, as well as an upgraded version of the cafe furniture set from New Leaf. That would be fantastic. We're over the 1-year anniversary, and I really feel this could be the moment to see my favourite pigeon finally show up, especially because there's been evidence of him in data mines since last year. Plus, don't lie, we all really want to know what pigeon milk looks like in HD. If you want to see more of my propaganda for the return of Brewster or some more of my New Horizons content, be sure to check out my channel, and definitely check out more of Mayor Mori, and make sure you subscribe.
Number 6. Paid DLC.
Hi everyone, my Animal Crossing New Horizons E3 prediction is the addition of paid expansion passes. So we know that Nintendo has done this for other games such as Pokemon Sword and Shield and Breath of the Wild, so I'm sure that they have at least thought about adding this in for Animal Crossing as well. Nintendo has really been conditioning us to not be excited for the new updates. We have maybe a addition to a past event or a couple of new items, but nothing substantial. And I don't think that that's going to change. I don't think that Nintendo has any really big updates coming for us. But I think for some ideas like island expansion, adding new buildings, adding new shops, having more villagers on your island, or other ways for multiplayer gameplay, these are things that I could see in a paid expansion pass. Of course, if Nintendo's gonna have us pay, it has to be worth it. So I think for free updates, quality of life, things like that, I could definitely see that coming with a free update. But for any big things or additions to the game that are really substantial, I do think it would come in a paid form. So for instance, I would be okay with Nintendo having an expansion pass similar to The Sims, so something like cottage living or city living, where we get tons of new items, new buildings, something that really gets people excited for the game again. This game is all about creativity, so the more items and just customizations that we can get for creating is what people are going to be excited about. So that is my prediction. If you guys are interested in more Animal Crossing content and inspiration, be sure to check out my channel at QB Crossing.
Number 7. Minigames.
New Horizons has so much potential to improve, and this prediction is definitely one of the most important changes we need. Pants on villagers. Look how good they would look. They're so fashionable. I'm just kidding. Although it would be a really cool feature to add. The real tragedy isn't the lack of pants. It's the fact that we have online multiplayer, but no in-game way to have minigames with your friends. Yeah, there's the exception of homemade fashion shows or homemade minigames, but as someone who's hosted a minigame island before, Nintendo has a huge miss with the potential for minigame islands. The sad thing is, this was a feature back in New Leaf that was removed for New Horizons. It was originally available by heading to the dock, either by yourself or with your friends, and have good old Captain drive you to his private island. Besides missing his charming songs and sometimes awkward flirting, it would bring you to a summer paradise where his family worked, providing new exclusive items as well as a whole list of minigames to choose from. The more you played, the more minigames would unlock, with higher levels and more medals to gain for the island shop. There was a ton of variety to the minigames as well. Fishing, diving, gardening, rock smashing, fossil finding, even bopping your friends and this weird acorn thing with a hammer. It would be really nice to see these come back because it was such a great way to gather your friends and beat them in a competition to win medals for exclusive island prizes. There's a designated dock on our islands in New Horizons already, so I can't see this not being a feature at some point, and I believe it'll be eventually re-added into the Animal Crossing series. After over a year of updates, it's about time we get our minigames back.
Number 8. Interactivity.
One thing that I feel has been missing from Animal Crossing is the interactivity of certain items. Sure, we have the items like vending machines that make a sound when you press A on them, or instruments that go along with the music as you're playing with them / interact with them. However, I feel like a lot of the items look pretty, but don't really do anything. I mean, not all of them have to do something, and it's unreasonable to think that every single item should do something, but I feel like the villagers have the ability to do way more things than the player does. An example of this is this microphone I'm talking into right now. You press A on it, and nothing. However, if you place this item outside, the villagers will sometimes be singing into whatever song is playing near them. Why can't we do that? Villagers will also sometimes take out a magnifying glass to inspect certain things, and they can even read books and magazines while sitting down. I think that if a 2.0 update were to be announced, updated interactivity with items and players would be a strong possibility. Another reason I think this improved interactivity is coming to New Horizons is because of the Welcome Amiibo update that happened for Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS. The Welcome Amiibo update happened in 2016, 4 years after the game came out, and added some pretty big features such as the campgrounds with Harv, and then a lot of other small quality of life features, including improved interactivity. We can now sit on rocks all over the town, and have the ability to interact with items while sitting down. That was a poem. I didn't even mean to do that. In the campground and near the plaza, beans in this game will also make birds fly into a spot that you threw them down. Players even posed in a fighting stance when they interacted with the judge's bell item. Because of all these changes that happened in the past, I believe that we have a strong chance to see more item interactivity in New Horizons. It would be really cool if we can do what the villagers could do. There are even reactions in the game that are fully functional and ready for the player to use, but they go unused for some reason. They even ported some of the new Leaf reactions over to New Horizons. These reactions can only be accessed with a save editor. Also, all of the items the villagers could use are holdable by the player, such as the magnifying glass, book, donut, and candy. Whether it's for future plans or updates, or just scrapped from the game because Nintendo changed their minds, we don't know for sure. But I'm hoping to see them implemented somehow. Another reason I think we will get an interactive update is because Nintendo has already been adding some things that the villagers could do that we couldn't do previously, such as the sniffing reaction or the taking picture reaction. Anyway, that's my take on why I think more interactions are going to be announced this E3, but who knows if we're even getting the Animal Crossing announcement. I really hope we do. Maury was kind enough to let us plug our channels, so if you want more content like this, you can check out Wibble's World on YouTube and click that sub... Oh, he ate it. Okay. Next.
Number 9. Villager Interaction.
Hi, I'm Toffee and I'm a fellow Animal Crossing content creator here on YouTube. So my predictions, speculations and hopes for Animal Crossing at E3 is improved villager interaction. I feel like there has been quite a high demand from the community for improvements to the way we interact with our villagers, and a lot of us felt that it was lacking compared to previous games, and it does feel like Nintendo occasionally listens to us. I would perhaps like to see some improved dialogue that makes the villagers a little bit more unique, more like how they were in previous games of the series, and it would be nice to not feel like all of the villagers were the same person with the same repetitive dialogue they all use. I do think it's a possibility that we will see some changes regarding this because it would probably be one of the lesser demanding updates for them to add. I also think bringing back activity-based interactions with villagers is likely, and it would be something the community would love to see. For example, in previous games we had the hide and seek with the villagers, which would go nicely with the treasure hunting aspect we already have in New Horizons. I feel like little interactions like this are so important because it makes the villagers feel like villagers and not just random animals walking around our islands. And then almost most importantly, the ability for villagers to visit our homes. In previous games, villagers would ask to visit your home and just walk around and probably judge the decor in your house. You could chat with them and it was just nice for them to come and visit. We also saw the flea market where again, villagers would come to your house and literally buy everything you've ever owned. But it was nice. It was just nice to see that villagers had the ability to come to your house if they wanted to. I think this is probably the biggest aspect about villagers that they left out, and one that was almost the most disappointing to not see in New Horizons. I also think it's one of the more likely to be added because it was a big thing for the community for them to have left out, and it isn't a completely new concept to add.
Number 10. Shop upgrades.
Hi everyone, my name's Lulu, and my prediction for something we might see added into Animal Crossing at E3 is more shop upgrades, and maybe even new furniture types. In previous Animal Crossing games, we had a bunch of different shop upgrades, including Nookway, Nook & Go, and a final shop upgrade, including an upstairs called Nookingtons. We had a similar shop upgrade called TNT Emporium in New Leaf, which featured a Gracie Grace shop upstairs. I really hope that Nintendo will start introducing more NPCs from older games into New Horizons, and so I think a shop upgrade would be an amazing way to do this. We could even have some of our visiting characters be able to set up shop permanently on our islands. That way we could see them every single day. Kix could have his own shoe shop again, Gracie could have their designer furniture and clothing shop, Leaf could have his own gardening shop, and Label could maybe even move back in with her sisters, or work with Gracie again to include a much bigger clothing and accessories selection. If Gracie had their own shop, we could have loads of new clothing and furniture to buy. If Leaf had his own shop, we would have a much bigger variety of gardening stuff to buy, like loads of new farming stuff, seeds and things, and bushes. I think that would be amazing. So him upgrading his shop to actually be on the island permanently would be a great way to include all of these new things. And if we were to get paid DLC like QB spoke about, maybe Laybell or Gracie or maybe even Harriet would be a great way to implement that, giving us more rare and exciting items and clothing that we would have to pay for, similar to the wings and wigs and special items that you would pay for in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I think that expanding or upgrading the shops in New Horizons could even be a way to give us more space to display different types of furniture that are for sale. A furniture type we haven't yet seen in New Horizons is ceiling decorations, which we had in Happy Home Designer. I'd love to see ceiling decorations added into the game because it would give us a lot more creativity when it comes to designing and decorating, and we'd have so many more lamp items and lighting options for our homes. Other than being able to sell more furniture types, I think upgrading our shops so that we can meet more characters is definitely something Nintendo must have considered, as we don't have much room on our island for new shops, and this would be a great way to include a lot of characters that many of us are missing from previous games. And if they weren't going to do this, maybe an island expansion would be the best way to include them all, although I think I might just be dreaming a bit too big at this point. But I guess you never know. I'm not too sure if Nintendo will have this at E3, but this is just something I hope they would include. So thank you so much for listening to my prediction. If you enjoyed listening to me, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Lulu Crossing. I make loads of Animal Crossing content over there. Thank you so much to Maury for letting me be a part of this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Number 11, Island Expansion.
Hey y'all, it's Katie. So, since the majority of my content showcases unique island tours by super talented island designers, one update I'd personally like to see is that in terms of island expansion. The game continually releases new items and hopefully will be releasing new NPCs with their own shops or structures, so an expansion totally makes sense to be included in a large update. This could include expanding the current map in a particular direction, or maybe even a separate mini island offshore that could be accessible by boat or by swimming. So even if we don't get an actual expansion to our islands in terms of space, it would be beneficial to have an expansion happen in the way of more inclines and more bridges available to us. With a lot of players focused on island design, the ability to place more than 8 inclines or bridges on an island would open up the opportunity for so much more creativity when it comes to island potential. Similarly to the custom code design slot update, this minor addition to the game would bring huge creative advantages to those who enjoy complex terraforming. Along the same vein, it would be incredibly nice to be able to relocate resident services at some point. If we can move large structures around the island, it only makes sense that we should also be able to relocate resident services and not be stuck to the same location Tom Nook bestowed upon us when we first started playing. Thank you so much for including my prediction in this video, or maybe it's just wishful thinking, we shall see. But if you like getting island design ideas, feel free to check out my channel for some incredibly unique tours of ridiculously talented Animal Crossing creators.
Number 12, Fruit.
Fruit! Why do we not have all of the fruit? Our poor New Horizons characters just wasting away on basic fruit when our past lives experienced the amazingness of a ton of different fruits like durians, persimmons, and lemons. E3 is the perfect time to grace us with more fruity content. I want to decorate my island with them. My beaches look so bland without the addition of banana trees. Ignore the fact that they're empty because they're not decorated currently. The addition of more fruit would give our islands the color variety they crave. More fruit opens a whole new world of designing options to help freshen up our towns after a year of playtime. Not to mention Perfect Fruit. It was a sad day when the community realized Perfect Fruit was not returning to the series. Even Pocket Camp has it, like, come on. Having a misshapen or miscolored fruit appear on your tree one day was always a wonderful surprise. But now we get a pink peach, and another pink peach, and a red cherry. Yay. Perfect Fruit was a great moneymaker. A nice stack of those sold for a decent number of bells. Not to mention the amazing dead trees that you're left with once it's done producing fruit. I hope we get some kind of Animal Crossing update soon. Something a little extra to help us continue to return to our islands. I'm crossing my fingers for a good E3.
Number 13, Quality of Life Updates.
Hi, this is Lex of Lex Play, and my prediction, or maybe my wishful thinking, for the E3 Nintendo Direct this year is that we'll see a big quality of life update for Animal Crossing. I think that could look like a lot of things, but what I had in mind was perhaps an airport app for your Nook phone. That is something that's been highly requested in the community, and I don't think it would be that difficult to implement. It would make the whole visiting and or flying out of your island process just so much easier. Another thing would be the Able Sisters cart. I think it would be so great if we could buy multiple items within the dressing room instead of having to go in and leave several times. Then I think bulk crafting and customizing could be implemented. That would just make everything so much faster, especially if you like to use things like simple panels and customize them. It can take a long time to do those individually. Something else I think would be super helpful is raising the number of items that you can order daily from Nook Shopping. I know that a lot of people like to order things in bulk, and 5 per day is just not enough, especially if you don't time travel. It takes forever to get a lot of items if you need them. I also think it would be great to see an item like some sort of chest that we could place outdoors on our islands that allowed us to access our storage in our houses, the same way that you can access clothes via a wardrobe. Even if you place it outside, it would be really cool to be able to access storage without walking all the way back to your house. I know I, for one, always put my house in the very back of my island, and that's just not fun when building. A very obvious quality of life update that I think is highly requested is the ability to change your island name and your representative name within the game without having to restart. This would be especially helpful for people who want to redecorate or people who are changing their name officially in real life. I just think that would be such an easy thing to implement, and I hope we see it soon. Last but not least, I think it would be so cool to see in the update some sort of button streamlining, so instead of having to press A and then scroll through options to eat or use or drop an item, I think it would be super cool to see a way that we could just do that with one button press, and maybe even an option to just empty your pockets when you go home. Maybe it excludes tools, things you want to keep in your pockets, but just a way to immediately empty your pockets into your home storage. That would be amazing, and it would just streamline the process of building so much. That's all from me, and fingers crossed that we'll see at least one of these, perhaps, in an upcoming Animal Crossing update.
So there we have it. That's a pretty large library of predictions for features and updates we hope will come to New Horizons in the near future. Of course, I'd like to thank each and every creator who helped me out with this video. It was super fun to work on. I'm sure you know them all already, but if not, check out their channels. Their links are below. Each and every one of them offers a range of amazing content, and like us, are huge Animal Crossing fans. Check them out, you won't regret it. Anyway, for now, that pretty much wraps up this video. Don't forget to let us know in the comments what you think about these predictions, and why not share some of your own. Of course, if you're an Animal Crossing fan, don't forget to subscribe, as I'll upload a bunch of New Horizons news as and when it happens, hopefully over E3. Until then, I'd like to give a special thank you to this channel's Patreon supporters, as well as this channel's members. You guys absolutely rock and truly help me upload as regularly as I do. I couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to head over to our Discord server too, and of course, if you made it to the end of the video, please comment hype just to let me know you did. That would be super awesome, and please be sure to include which prediction was your favourite. I'd love to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Please be sure to leave a like if you did. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.